on in. Come on in. Come on in. Now, come on in. Now, come. Sorry, y'all. Y'all know I'm weird. Whatever.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl BondyBlue. So let's go ahead. Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl BondyBlue. Hey, follow me on Instagram and let's get into the video. Right?
What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. You can see what we're here for. This is another Now That We're Grown. This is a series I have been doing on my channel for a while now. I have an entire playlist full of movies you guys can check out here on YouTube where we really discuss it now that we're grown and we're adults and we have more information and our brains have fully formed. Now we can go and look at some of our favorite, some movies we've never seen, just all of the different types of movies, girl. We can sit and talk and see how we feel about it all now. Hi, everybody. Hold up, let me center myself. Okay, listen, what's going on? Hi. Okay. So I want to just go ahead without any real further ado, jump into the review and the conversation about Acrimony and all of the things that I noticed. I want to start off by saying that I feel like what was intended to happen, like what Tyler Perry and the people that wrote this story were trying to get across versus what I think we actually saw. I don't know if those two things are the same. Like, I don't know if the point of the movie is how we're receiving it now. Because y'all know Tyler Perry, in movies that he does, he did this in conjunction with other people. This is not just him. But he does love to make women look bad for leaving men after men have done all of this messed up stuff for them. But it's like this God complex of feeling like the woman has to suffer and go through all this messed up stuff. And just at the end, just when she's ready to give up, if she don't hold on, she's going to leave that man and then she is going to regret it. Like that was kind of how this felt. This felt like she shouldn't have left him. And maybe it was all her because she was so angry. Or was it all him? Because when she starts out explaining the situation, I didn't know whether to believe her or not. And I'll tell y'all what I mean by that. But I did want to talk about the visuals for the movie, which were very gray, blue, very cold toned. Even Taraji having contacts in order to make her look even more angry, even more scary, really. I didn't like that because it also in juxtaposition made Robert's character look like a sad fucking puppy dog that for some reason could never get a fresh lining. You know what I'm saying? So the first scene, we see Melinda, Taraji's character. She is in court being admonished by a judge telling her to leave these people alone. She needs to complete counseling. And if she doesn't do what the judge tells her to do, she's going to jail. Okay? And she is just staring knives. If looks could kill, the whole other side of the courtroom would be fucking dead. Okay? Staring until her lawyer has to nudge her to tell her to give, old nasty ass Ike Turner. You ain't got to instruct me to do nothing. All right, China. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it was given. So she goes to counseling, pissed off, right? She's angry. She calls him a son of a bitch. This is all his fault. He owes her every last breath in his body. This motherfucker tormented her, and then he gets to walk away scot-free. Let me just say something. This is for everybody. Nothing that you do for another grown adult should enslave them to you. And you need to be okay with that. It's the same reason that you actually do charity. You don't give to people so that they can give back. It's also the rule of thumb for borrowing money. Don't you ever give people money that you can't afford to give them. Don't ever give them money that you actually worrying about getting back. It's a way for you not to be stressed out. So if you don't have it to give, or if you're not okay with never getting it back, don't give it. Okay? I feel like she continuously betrayed herself for this man, and he allowed her to. And so one person is not the bad guy. Both people in the situation are the fucking bad guy. Both of them. What's really sad about this whole story is how she kept choosing him even in her anger. Even in her anger, never once did it make her choose herself. It only made her change the way she decided to obsess about that man. The way they set up the childhood story, she has her two sisters, their mom, was a loving mom. She had a great relationship with her mom, but the mom ended up leaving her, dying while she was in her first semester of college. And the mom leaves her a house and money and all of this, right? So it makes us feel like, oh, that means that she comes from a loving family. Something must have been going wrong. Something must have been going wrong because, and when I say going wrong, I mean like Black people, I think sometimes we don't understand the things that we do that be causing harm. Like not allowing children to have any space to express themselves when they're younger. I think when they grow up, they start to become these terrors because they can't hold it in anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like if children are always kind of being told like you're supposed to be seen and not heard and all of that bullshit, they push a lot down. And so at some point that shit's gonna come up. And I think that might have been a part of the reason why. I think she was also bipolar and never got diagnosed for bipolarism. And that's another thing about Black people not liking to take their children to doctors because rightfully so, you don't trust them. But I also feel like in the 80s and the 90s, like you could definitely vet more than one doctor and see if you can find somebody that will help you without abusing you as well, without exploiting you as well. You know what I'm saying? Because it really is, it's a life or death situation. If you have somebody in your family that's undiagnosed with something that causes them to black out like this. And I didn't realize it at first, but like I really do feel like we're looking at a woman that is actually mentally ill, never getting help, having someone take advantage of her bipolarism. Because there are some things we never really looked at when it comes to this. And how long did she not hold down a job? Like it was a lot of shit that I feel like was going on that they were mirroring each other, even though she's telling a story like he's the bad guy and he was just using her. He was using her, but he was using her, but she was also betraying herself. Like she wasn't pouring into herself at all for real. She quit school. She not really working a job. All she want to do is play wife in a house with this nigga and he's not working. And she's depleting the money that her mom gave her until she starts working two jobs and he's still at home telling her he's going to try. Anytime a nigga tells you he going to try, it's because he either doesn't really want to do it or he doesn't think he actually can do it. Mostly, they don't really want to do it. I have a rule now. I don't like to hear try. You either gonna do it or you're not gonna do it. Like I can't. I can't. So she goes to counseling. She's angry. She's blaming him. She's tired of hearing that she's the angry Black woman emasculating a man. Shall we all be tired of hearing that shit? Because men happily play these submissive roles and allow a woman to take care of them. And then once she's acting like a parent to them, all of a sudden it's emasculating. It's been emasculating, nigga. It was emasculating when you had your hand out. It was emasculating when you were standing behind her and she was signing checks and paying for shit. It was emasculating when she had to hand you her debit card to pay for shit. It's been emasculating. Then she calls her therapist a bitch Which I'm like, so you come into the therapist's office calling the therapist a bitch and the therapist don't check you? That's the issue. I would have been like, okay, so check this out. I understand that this is a place for you to express your feelings, but this is also a place for you to express some type of self control. Please do not disrespect me because I'm not disrespecting you. You may feel that way, but I haven't called you out your name. I haven't disrespected you. Don't call me out my name. And if you do it again, you would have to get the fuck out of my office because I'm not talking to nobody so that they can berate me and just dump all of this shit on me like I'm some, endless well or some shit. I think not. I think not. So she gets into how these two assholes met. Okay. She was in college running in the rain with her papers and they bump into each other. He goes to help her pick her things up and she starts hitting him. I think we can start off with where the problem begins, her anger. Like, girl, he trying to help you. Y'all are both running in the rain. You wasn't looking and he wasn't looking. But you think it's okay to just start wailing on him in the middle of the rain while he trying to help? And he was picking up his own shit, but he was trying to help her pick up hers too. And it's like, y'all, it's just rain. If y'all would take a few minutes to like a few seconds, honestly, to just calm the fuck down, look at what you're doing, pick your shit up, and get out the rain. All of this like immediacy. So now we not paying attention to what we doing and shit. Like, calm the fuck down. Okay. The young lady needed to calm the fuck down. Okay. So he returns her papers to her dorm room and she refers to him as an asshole. Then she refused to give him his papers back. And so her homegirl gave him the papers herself. And, her roommate was like, Here go the papers." And he tells her that he could help her with her history paper because it's full of inaccuracies. They go to the library and she would rather talk about him than talk about history. So first he was an asshole simply for bumping into you. And now you were so worried about your grades that you were so angry and losing your shit because you were worried about your paper. He said he can help you because your paper was wrong. And instead of worrying about the paper, you get frustrated and just say, "Well, why don't you just tell me about you instead?" Girl, what the fuck? Wrong road. We already going down the wrong road of you replacing what you need to be doing for yourself with you focusing on this man. He's working on a battery to save the environment. That's his thing the whole time. He is a geek, a nerd, and he's working on something that is big, okay, that has overall, larger meaning. That's how it's being sold. So I think it's so funny how I didn't know whether he didn't know what the fuck he was talking about when they were studying, or she really didn't learn anything during the course of the studying because she got an F on that paper. So she just wants to give up. You get an F on one paper, and now you wasting your mama's money just being there, and you rather just give up. This is a waste of money, and she can't keep doing this. So her sisters actually surprise her at school. And she talks about how her sisters were actually the smart ones. And I'm like, now where would you get that from? You seem to be the youngest. So where would you get it from that you're not as smart as your older sisters? Where would you get that from? Then the sisters show up and tell her, just as she's about to put her head on this nigga's shoulder and tell him she wants to quit school, here come her sisters telling her that their mama passed away. Okay? So she says he knew when to show up in order to take advantage of her. Because, the whole time she's narrating, she's crafting this story that makes her completely absolved of responsibility in her own life. He walks into the repast and runs into her sisters. The oldest one, Brenda, is judgmental of him off rip because you look broke like you don't have anything. And my sister got something. And a nigga that don't have shit will only use a woman that has something. What does he do for a living? What side of the tracks is he from? All of this, elitist kind of judgmental bullshit that was really unnecessary. The other sister thinks him being in school is a good sign. See, he's in school. Then her ex-boyfriend comes in. I'm sorry, the young man looks like Timu Chris Brown. His brows are very furrowed. His head is very shark hammerish, you know. Um, so it was very intense when he came in. Uh, you can tell the other sister likes this boyfriend for Melinda, and it's probably because he comes from a good family with money. That's what I am to assume. Okay. Um, Robert leaves when her sister pulls them all away because Brenda is like, you know the pastor, right? Let's all go talk to the pastor, which of course leaves Robert standing there. Robert decides that, he's not welcome here. He should just leave. So he leaves. Melinda comes running behind him. He's about to walk, but she says she will drive him. She drives him home to a trailer parked in the driveway of his aunt's home, which I know that was supposed to look bad, but it really wasn't. He's in college. Like these are the struggle years, okay? And maybe if she hadn't come and saved him, he would have had to work for something because I'm sure his aunt wouldn't have let him just sit on her property in that trailer for the rest of his damn life. When men move in, or period, when people move in together, it makes them feel like they've done something that they really haven't done. Like it makes them feel like they've accomplished something because they moved into a place with their partner. So that, it's like, oh, I did this. So I don't really have to work that hard or strive to have something because I found another person that's going to help supplement my income. So I don't have to do anything. And I think women do the same thing with men. Always looking for some fucking man to take care of you so that you don't have to do the hard work of figuring out what you here to do your damn self. That's too hard for a lot of people. So they would much rather find somebody else to do the work that is just kind of like a replacement work. Because really it's the work you need to do for yourself to figure out why you're here and what you're here to do. But instead, it's like, oh, I don't want to work. I don't want to do that work. So I'm going to find a man to financially secure me so I don't have to do the inner work, not just outside work, but inner work as well. What else? So I feel like they were both doing that. Him and her, they were doing that once they decided to move in together. Um, but anyway, yes, they go to the trailer. Um, she doesn't know who Nina Simone is, which I ain't gonna lie, I was like, how you don't know who Nina Simone is? That's weird. You black. Like, anyway, his dad is in prison. His mom left him with his grandmother who died when he was 14. Now he lives in his aunt's driveway in a trailer and he's trying to finish school and come up with this battery. It's given that he's one of those, like, again, undiagnosed autism on some level of spectrum, it's all a spectrum. Like, let's be real, it's all a spectrum. So even people that aren't autistic are on the spectrum of autism, from what I understand. Okay. But yes, it's given he was autistic in some way. And that's why there was this hyperfixation. And I think he needed to be forced to have some type of job, some type of everyday schedule. This is the time that you get to work on your battery. Ding, ding, ding. The time working for the battery is over. It seems as if he's the type of man that was going to require a woman that could play a mother role to him. And I do not think that this woman was equipped to play that role. I don't. She didn't have the internal discipline herself that it would have took, because like in real life, y'all, this is how a lot of artists and scientists and people that kind of have like a one-track mind with their work, if they have relationships, those people have to sometimes supplement how they go into trends. Like, even here, y'all, even when I have to be up here for a long time, if Lyric is home, Lyric's gonna make sure that I get something to drink when I need it. Lyric's gonna like ask me, did I eat something? Like, because I'm the person that has to like sometimes be in this constant state of work, he goes to work, he gets off work. I'm always working. Like, it's hard not to, especially when working is social media, looking at different stories, reading different books, watching, podcast videos, watching videos about history. Like, it's a lot of information that on a daily basis, I just have to make it my business to siphon through, right? In order to do this. And I think it does require like a level of me not really doing other things sometimes in the way that he can. You know what I'm saying? He has more patience than me. So I do feel like when there is a person that is, you know, more driven in some respect, the other person has to take on this kind of role of making sure that that other person is taking care of themselves, right? And I think that she did not have the temperament to do that. I think she was angry and also not saying shit. Like she went a lot of swallowing, a lot of not saying anything, a lot of betraying herself, deep breaths, rolling her eyes, doing shit that she didn't really want to do because she wanted to have this man. And honestly, if she was being real with herself, it was a control mechanism. She used money to keep him because she was scared of losing him. She had just lost her mom. She had abandonment issues. And a way to keep what was an obvious bum from the very beginning, if we being real, and in order to keep him, she gave him everything she had, which is not what she should have done. And I don't know who what the work was being done when she was being raised, but I know how people, back in the day and even still now, I'm raising my daughter to be a wife and a mother. Okay, if that's what you want to do, girl. I feel like there are other things that might be a little bit more important, and then you could circle back around to that. I feel like honestly teaching somebody how to take good care of themselves but also be considerate of other people, that's the best way to teach anybody how to be a good partner. It's not about teaching somebody how to be a wife and a mother. It's about teaching them how to be a good person that can take care of themselves and also be conscious of other people around them, but not in a self-betraying way. That's what the goal should be. Okay. I don't know what the fuck would be going on in all of that. But she go to this nigga trailer. He play some jazz she ain't never heard before. And now she getting fucked out in the back of a trailer on the same day as her mama repass. Girl, it just shows a lot of like impulse, like just a lot of impulse control, right? You just doing shit. Like you just quit school because you got an F. You just start hitting somebody because they ran into you. Um you run after this boy even though you know that you should probably let him go. You know what I'm saying? You just buying shit for him because he mentioned he might need something like that in the girl. So let me get back into my notes, child. So she gave him her virginity. Her sisters question if they are having sex and who is paying for the dates that they go on. So Brenda is already peeping what's going on. She tells her, don't tell that boy that mama left you money in this house. She doesn't want to listen because she feels like her sisters don't know this man. They don't have to know that specific man because your man is just like her man is just like my man is just like her man. Like the niggas are the same. They fit the same archetypes, right? They're doing the same shit. And you can see the signs of it off rip because young men that's going to be on their shit by the time we get to high school. By the time we get to high school, the men that are going to be on their shit in real life have already started that process. So it is a lot of being able to see in college and in high school that these men are not going to really be able to sustain themselves. So they go on a date and he tells her about this tree hugging billionaire who he wants to invest in his battery idea. And the worship of the billionaire as a godlike figure that's going to come in and answer all of his prayers, that's also a problem. People don't want to admit the way they relate religion to everything in their lives for the most part. Like even down to the fact that religion is how we form the ideals around the master and the slave when it came to slavery. That's exactly what our whole system is built off of. Our capitalist society is built off of racism, right? Like that that's the case. Capitalism arrived largely by way of slavery, especially in like this area of the world, right? There are so many places that profited off of the sale of black bodies, correct? So once we understand that, now translate that to how everything in your life is centered around your job. Everything in your life is centered around the 5 to 4 days, whatever it is that you got to be on a job. And what you can do in that other time is all centered around that job. So that should let you know that the capitalists, the money, how we work in this country is We only care about the actual job, the work. That's the only thing that really matters is being able to get something, being able to get money or exchange our time for money. So once you understand that we're centering our lives around that, you'll understand how much we put this very godlike quality on certain things in the hierarchy. Everything at the top of the hierarchy gets godlike treatment in a system like this. So the billionaire is the godlike figure. And to me, it's like instead of figuring it out on your own, you decide to put all of your eggs in one basket. And yes, it eventually did work out for him, but I could not imagine what he could have done had he took another route. There were so many other things he could have did. You mean to tell me there was not anybody else that you could have found that could have, wanted to invest in your battery? There were no hit. Prescott didn't have any competition. You know what I'm saying? Like there were no other people doing this. You could only go to this one white man and then stand outside of his fucking building for decades, writing letters, sending videos, and it was very warming and sad at times to watch. But it was a fixation that if he would have just changed his perspective. So, for instance, one day he's working on that battery and he hooks it up to the breaker in their house. And when Melinda walks inside, she says, "Did you call the electrician?" And he says, "Why?" And then fires start because he's he's putting too much energy into the house. So everything's malfunctioning. And I was just like, so you mean to tell me you're an electrical engineer of some sort and you didn't go and get a job as a electrician? Because if he would have went to school, like after he finished college and he couldn't get them 3 jobs, he could have went to be an electrician, because being an electrician might have helped him figure out how to make that battery work even faster, because the expertise he obviously did not have when he blew the goddamn house up, with the battery and all of that, meaning that you could have learned something from going work a regular job as an electrician that could have helped you get to figuring that battery shit out faster. But no, you don't want to work a job. You want to sit there and go through a cycle of being in constant transit work mode, feeling like you figured something out. Coming out of it, maybe you fuck her. You know what I'm saying? You climb out of the books and out of the papers, you fuck her, and then you go right back in, and then you feel bad, and then you go fuck her, and then you go right back in. And it's this cycle that just keeps repeating. And nobody's doing anything differently, even with all of that time going by. It's crazy. But there was so many other ways, y'all, that he could have figured this shit out. But he put all his eggs in this tree hugging billionaire's basket. She gives him a better name for his battery, the Gale Force Wind, and tells him that she will be around to remind him of the name. Another mistake. I love y'all for real. Listen to me when I tell y'all this. You can love somebody and still be real and honest about you don't know what's going to happen in the future. Like people that, oh, I don't like to be talking about breaking up. When they talk about prenups, right? When people talk about prenups, everybody wants to have this. What about love? Stop being fucking stupid as if you're not looking around seeing everyday relationships do not work out. And when they don't work out, people get nasty and people get mean. That is a normal fucking occurrence. You have all types of evidence all over the place. Stop fairy tailing the situation and be real with yourself about it. So don't ever tell somebody, "Oh, I'm going to be here forever." "Are you going to stay with me forever, Mr. Bean?" Like, stop that shit. Stop that shit, man. Do not do that. Don't tell yourself that. Don't make those promises to other people. Be real about the fact that I love you right now and I want a future, but there may not be a future. And that's okay too. People are not okay with the fact that shit may not work out. And I think that's a part of the problem. Like, that's a part of the problem. Jump over the hurdle of fear and admit to yourself that something may not work out, even though you really want it. And you need to be able to be okay with if it doesn't, especially when it comes to relationships, because you can't control other people, right? So he says, "You promise?" and she tells him that she won't disappoint him. He tells her that she's going to be his wife forever. We know that that's not really the case, though, don't we? So when when they're making all their plans for the future, he asks her, what if the billionaire calls and he has to ride the bus to get there? The way he ended up riding the bus to go and meet with that man anyway, the way he had to get on the fucking bus to go and meet that man anyway when Prescott finally did call, it makes this moment so much more like just stupid. She says that she'll bring him. She was like, well, I'll just bring you. And he said, well, what if you're not here? And so she buys him a $24,000 car as if she couldn't get that nigga a little Toyota Corolla for $2,000 down at the used car lot. That right there is you being stupid and him letting you be stupid. Both of y'all. Then Brenda tells her, since both the sisters are married, they are moving out and she needs to get a job to take care of the house. Y'all, the girl never got a job. She never got a job. She just kept using the money that her mama left her to take care of everything and pay for shit. She calls Robert after he hasn't called her for 2 days because she bought him the car and then he went missing on her. And so when he answered the phone, finally, he sounded weird. Like, oh, hey, how are you? Like, fuck you mean? He says he's working. Oh, I just been working, and honestly, you haven't called me in a couple of days either. I thought you got busy. Now he flipped it on you. Now he's gaslighting you. You know what the fuck going on, nigga? Oh, somebody did that to me. I hate that shit. She goes to sit outside of his trailer to see if he was lying. And she keeps, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. Stop acting like you're above crashing out, because you're not. Just when she's about to pull off, she sees a woman's hand hit the window. So he in there fucking somebody. Instead of getting out of her car and beating the door down or something, or what I would have wanted her to do, which would say, okay, I got you, nigga. Go home and get that fucking car repossessed from in front his door. Ghost him and go sell that car, never to be heard from again. That's, to me, that's real catchback. Real catchback is I'm taking a car back and you could kiss my ass. That's not what she did. She hit the man's trailer 2 times in her Jeep, threw her body against the car wheel so fucking hard that it caused her to rupture and had internal bleeding that caused her to have to get a full hysterectomy. Couldn't have kids after that. So this is an example of you being so filled with fucking rage that you didn't care about hurting yourself because you wanted to hurt them so much. That's crazy, y'all. That's something that needs to go to a doctor and talk about. This is a time for somebody to go to a doctor and talk, because that's not appropriate behavior. I don't care if you were getting cheated on. Trying to kill them because they were cheating, that's not appropriate. I'm sorry, y'all. That's not appropriate. I know a lot of y'all feel like that, but I don't think it's that serious. I really don't. And I feel like y'all should stop being surprised by shit like this. So the girl goes running out. I didn't know you had a girlfriend, because of course she has to let you know that she's a good girl and she wasn't trying to hurt you. That role that Diana played really annoyed me on some level. But anyway, not only did she roll over the goddamn trailer with her Jeep, girl, I would never ruin my Jeep, throws a cinder block through the car window. So at some point, you ruin the trailer, so now he got to come live with you. And you ruin the car, so now you got to pay to fix his car and your car. Then she ends up in the hospital with the internal bleeding. So now you got hospital bills. Her sisters hate him and blame him. Honestly, even though I understand why they felt that way in the moment, because he's a fucking user, this is her fault. Because why the fuck are you that mad when you knew what was probably going on? You felt it, like you said. So why would you go and ruin your own shit for this man. And that's where crashing out gets you. A lot of people don't know what crashing out means, right? So for me, if just being direct and cursing somebody, out directly, if that's crashing out, then that's not what we're talking about. To me, crashing out is when people do shit like this. They are so angry that they're willing to hurt themselves to hurt you. That's crashing out to me. You willing to go to jail to hurt this person. That's crashing out to me. Okay? Cheating is not a good enough reason for me to put my body in danger. Cheating is not a good enough reason because I mean, technically, I've already done that. If I'm having unprotected sex with this nigga and he cheating on me, I've already put my body in enough peril, bitch. Okay, so yeah, I feel like that just showed from the gate that sis was not okay in the head. She refused to listen to her sisters. She got back with him after that. He lost his scholarship. Why would you lose your scholarship, nigga? What were you doing? The only thing you supposed to really be good at is school. So how did you lose your scholarship? So he can't get a student loan. It's too late. This bitch paid $73,000 to put this nigga through school. And he gave her a plastic ring as if you couldn't go in a fucking mall and get a cubic zirconia for less than $40. That's just despicable. Her sisters refused to come to the wedding, and I actually appreciate them for this. I'm sorry, I'm not supporting you in this endeavor. Like, no, I'm not supporting you because I can already see how this going. I'm gonna stand my ground on this. 73,000 fucking dollars, child. I cannot believe she did. She still gets married. He was draining her funds and lowering his tolerance to her at the same time. But really, you not doing nothing, he not doing nothing. Y'all are two unhappy people living inside of a house that y'all not even really living. Y'all just in there doing whatever y'all doing, just walking around like zombies and shit. Cause girl, what the fuck was you doing all of them years? He said he would try to get a job. He said, I'm gonna try to get a job. I mean, I can do what I can. I'll try. That should have been another sign to kick his ass out. If you're gonna try to get a job, I'm going to try not to be with you. Like, the fuck is you talking about? Instead, he harasses the employees outside of Prescott's building to the point that they had to call security on him and tell him he couldn't come down there no more. Melinda, just at this point, decides to go and get 2 jobs. So he's not really working one job, odd jobs here and there, but he's not working any consistent job to help her with the bills on a monthly basis. But she's working 2 jobs. Girl, if there's anybody out there listening to me right now that's doing some shit like this, man, please stop. Don't you ever work no 2 motherfucking jobs for no nigga so he could sit at inside and beat on some shit all day. Let me tell you something. You got 24 hours in a day and you need to find a fucking job during some of them hours. You do. You need to find a job in some of them hours. You need to balance your time out better. Okay? As somebody that worked 2 jobs, went to school, graduated, worked 2 jobs, started doing YouTube, like, the fuck? No excuses. Get out of my face. When she gets home, he's running cables from the power breaker to his battery. I told y'all about this. She asked if he talked to the electrician. He said, for what? Then shit starts blowing up. I said, why didn't he go to electrician school to help him with his battery? I don't fucking know. Y'all, they had to rewire the entire house. It cost $37,000. 37. $37,000, y'all. You know, at some point they started tallying up how much she was spending on this nigga, right? He graduates finally, and she's standing in the crowd like a good mama. He has 3 job offers, but they all turned him down because he had a record that wasn't expunged from when he was 15. He was in a gang. He robbed a store. and it never got expunged. Then he says all he has to do is just get the bill. All I do is just get the billionaire to help me. I can't do anything else but get the billionaire to help me. So they mortgaged her damn house that was paid for. Now her resentment starts. And 18 years go by after that. She said 18 years passed like days. Robert is still standing outside of the billionaire's office, but now Diana, in a terrible wig, is the girl who is walking up to the office. You know, Diana, the girl he was cheating on Melinda with, walks up. She's not working there. Y'all, that was like one of the first signs that Tyler Perry and them were not taking this movie seriously. And I'm so mad that I didn't get the screenshot, but you could see it here. Y'all could see it. Y'all could see it in the thumbnail. That's why I didn't worry about it, because you could see it in the thumbnail. Do y'all see the top right corner? That wig was so fucking unserious. That's what makes me feel like Tyler Perry don't take none of this shit seriously. I'm gonna show y'all another one that make me feel like Tyler Perry don't take none of this shit seriously. What was this? What was that? You don't take this seriously, Tyler. Want to see another one? When they got married. What is this? What is this? Who is in charge of the wigs? Y'all could just let people wear their own fucking hair instead of doing shit like this. That man could have just been the bald person he probably is. Why is that? And then this one, which is not as bad, but it's still terrible. This was before she decided to go and get the nose job that she currently has on Beauty in the Black. It's so sad. Like, why does he do this to these people? And I feel like Taraji is the only one that was like, Tyler, you're not about to put one of them wigs on me, baby. Okay, now you make sure you come through with something that's at least half human hair, not all synthetic. And don't give me nothing too big in the root now. Okay. Taraji's wigs were the only good shake and go wigs I saw. Those were the only good ones on this entire goddamn movie. Everybody else looked crazy. Okay. Also, when they were younger, the wigs weren't bad. I don't know why when everybody got older, the wigs had to get bad. I don't know why. Like, it's like, oh, when we were younger, we didn't wear wigs. Now we're older. We wear bad wigs, girl. We might have had good hair back when we was wearing our own hair, but somehow we've transitioned to terrible wigs. I don't understand. Anyway, so Robert is still standing outside the billionaire's office, but now Diana, the girl he was cheating on Melinda with, walks up. She makes it be known that she didn't know he had a girlfriend. He assumed that she would help him, and it was God. God is the one. Okay, he just knew that once she was hired, it was God sending her to help him. She tells him, of course, God was sending this for you because, you're a representation of God in the film as the man that somebody's willing to make all of these sacrifices for. She tells him that she can't take information. It's policy. He wants her info so that he can get some advice. And she was just like, I can't really help you. He bombards her and does the sad puppy dog face thing that he's mastered. He is a con man. Y'all know all of the times that she called him a con man at the beginning of the fucking movie. She was not wrong. He is a con man, y'all. I know there's a level of genuineness that they wanted to portray in Robert's character. But in real life, even as a teen, Robert knows what he's doing. As a grown man, Robert knows what he's doing whenever he is trying to invoke sympathy so that he could get somebody to do something for him. He knows exactly what he's doing. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Okay. He applies pressure and does the sad puppy dog face. And I tried my best and I just need help. Like, he does all of that until somebody helps him. So security from the billionaire's building calls and says he's been banned from the building. She asks him to get a job and just move on. Then her sisters and husbands come busting through the door pissed because the house is going into foreclosure. So she's losing her mom's house that was paid for. The husbands have a plan Well, actually, they all have a plan because they all are running a delivery service business together. Both of the sisters and both of the husbands are working on this delivery business, which honestly was one of the smartest things that I feel like should have been talked about. And it just goes to show how much Melinda was in some type of fog and really wasn't making good decisions for herself. Cause why were you not a part of that? You could have went in on that. Instead of spending fucking money on this nigga draining your pockets, you could have invested some of that money that your mama left you on a business with your siblings. And that would have been like bringing money into your household, especially if they were still doing good at that. Like, that's insane. Anyway, like, it's way too many ways that they could have not been in this situation, y'all. So they decide that they're gonna try to get an advance um from one of the people that they deliver to, one of the businesses they deliver to. And if they get the orders done right and on time, then they'll get an advance. Robert has to do the drop-offs though, because they need an extra person. Y'all know we got to make it make sense. Robert begrudgingly agrees to do this as if he has not been eating off of this girl and her family and they're about to lose this house, but he has absolutely no urgency whatsoever to remedy the situation. As if he doesn't give a fuck because he knows that as long as he is with Melinda, Melinda will figure out where they're going to stay. Then when they leave, he turns to Melinda and tells her that she doesn't love him the same. I know you don't love me the same because you didn't even defend me. What was she supposed to defend you about? The entitlement. The entitlement. Y'all are losing y'all's fucking house and you're acting as if it doesn't even matter. Like, y'all, that was crazy to me. That's how you knew that he really wasn't shit. So now he's alienating affections from her, making her pay for him working that job because he didn't want to do it. So now he's not talking to her. He's not sleeping in the same bed with her. Melinda then says that he's a very sexual person. So if he, hasn't been getting it from her, he's getting it from somewhere. Now, the way they put this in a movie is as if this was like a lie she was telling herself and she had no reason to really think this. But then her sister finds Diana's wallet in his truck, which doesn't even make any fucking sense. And the fact that we never saw that scene is another reason that I kind of feel like that was being left up to interpretation. Robert swore up and down that he never cheated. But to me, as soon as Robert started interacting with Diana, he was working on Diana. Whether he was going to get the job at Prescott's or not, he was working on removing himself from the relationship with Melinda so he can move to the relationship with Diana. That's what he was doing from the moment he gave her his card and wanted to meet with her. It wasn't just about using her for her position at that job. It was also about at least moving on to another woman that has a lot that I can suck from because I've already, I'm almost depleted Melinda over here. So, Melinda then says that he's very sexual. Meanwhile, Diana is watching the videos that he sent to Prescott using his love for his wife as the reason that he wants to make the battery work. Such bullshit. Diana is charmed, of course, and I think that's so interesting how the only reason you really start to like him is because you're watching him talk about how much he loves a woman that he's draining. Diana is charmed. Brenda finds Diana's wallet in Robert's truck and she brings it to Melinda's job. I don't know why they always bringing shit to this lady job and just don't let her get through her work day. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't talk to her about that when she got home. Melinda goes and tries to ask Robert about it, but he just got the call from Prescott and he has to go. And so right when he is finally getting his big break, here she come wanting to lose her fucking mind about this wallet in the truck and him cheating and all of that, to the point that it don't matter that he keeps saying, I finally got the phone call. I finally got the phone call. She is just pissed. She tries to keep him from leaving. Where you going? He keeps saying he's going to Prescott's. Are you fucking listening? All of this time, everything you've sacrificed, he needs to take his ass there. She takes the keys from him. This is why he ends up on the fucking bus anyway. Your dumb ass stopped him from using the car that you went into debt to give him for this exact moment. He goes there And at first, to me, it seemed as if him and Diana had talked about how to handle the situation with his company, with his invention. Don't let him buy it. Let him license it. And you would basically rent it to him and retain all of your ownership rights to the patent. That's the most, that's the best way to handle the situation. They made it seem as if Robert knew that all on his own, but to be honest, it seemed as if that was something that Diana told him to do once it had all actually happened. Either way, the man offered him $800,000 for his prototype, but Robert is not selling for $800,000 because he knows that it's worth more than that. So when he goes back to the house after all of this, and she done dumped all of his shit into a big pile in the middle of the floor, and the whole family is there to make sure he leaves, and he tries to plead his case and says that the man was offering him the money, but he didn't take it because it's not a good deal. Then they tell him that he's stupid because he didn't take the deal. He's not stupid. It's not a good deal. But at the same time, don't nobody want to fucking hear that when they about to lose their house and you never gave a fuck. You never gave a fuck. If you actually gave a fuck, you would have went and washed dishes every night before you let you and that lady lose that fucking house. But you didn't really care. You were just using her. You didn't really love her. You were just using her. You were using her for as long as you could. And I'm not coming up off that, okay? She calls him a motherfucking loser. She says, I need you to go. I need you to get out. He didn't want to go, but she tells him that she can be the motherfucking devil, right? And he gets scared and he leaves. 3 months later, she lost her mom's house. She moves in with her sister. And then he goes into a shelter and finally starts washing the dishes that his raggedy ass could have been washing the entire time, and they could have not lost that house. When I tell y'all that shit don't make no sense, that nigga should have went to electrician school as soon as he got, like, honestly, as soon as you realized that you couldn't afford to finish college, you should have quit and went and got your license to be an electrician, and you should have started doing that. And you should have built a business doing that while simultaneously working on your battery. Is it really that fucking hard? Like, come on, y'all. So she goes on a date and sees Robert working in the fucking kitchen washing dishes. And it pissed her off. And it pissed her off because he wouldn't do it for you. He's doing it now, but he wouldn't do it for you. They have the divorce proceedings. He shows up with no lawyer, asking for nothing. And he says that he never cheated on her. He found out what love is for the first time because of her. He loves her with all his heart, and he will always love her. And he's sorry. No. I believe that people know when they have to act like this really good, selfless person so that they can retain their image, because retaining their image will make the person feel even worse. If somebody been dogging you the entire time and you've been holding it and holding it and holding it, and you finally get mad at them and they turn around and low-key gaslight you, they apologize and all of that. But really, it's from a space of, I'm taking the higher ground with you right now. Like, that's what it feels like. I'm taking the higher road with you. And it still leaves the person that they've been abusing feeling like they're the lesser person because they finally gave into the anger from you playing in their face that whole fucking time. Yeah. It all felt like gaslighting, and it felt like a way to make her feel bad for finally saying enough. Cause you know she really love you, cause you watched her do all of that shit for you. So you know how she feel about you, and you know you telling her how much you love her was gonna play in her head over and over and over again. It was gonna keep her on the hook. When the truth of the matter is, his dismissal of everything she cared about showed how much he really didn't give a fuck about her. Robert calls Diana, and she's been trying to reach him. They are still working on some deal, but she didn't know that he was divorced. He tells her that the shelter he's staying, he tells her about the shelter that he's staying in, and just like another super saver hoe, she come running down there to get him. And what she do? The first thing, Keisha K or the nigga, put him in a bath. Okay? Then hold him while he cry about what happened to him. Brenda Brenda is rejoicing in the divorce and says that her favorite part of the divorce is when he told Mel how much he loved her. And this is when I'm looking at the siblings like, I understand that you didn't like him, but you know how your sister felt about him. And I know it's good riddance to bad rubbish, but to sit up here and act like you can't tell that your sister is heartbroken behind having to divorce her ain't shit ass husband, to me, it just made the sister seem like, I don't know if you ever really liked her. I don't know if you ever really liked Melinda. And I can see why you don't like her after all of the bad decisions that she's made and how selfish she is. But it just kind of felt like, yeah, you don't really care about her fucking feelings like that. Because why are you rejoicing when you know that the lady is hurt? The nigga ain't here. So who are you putting on this show for? Champagne and all of that shit. And why is that your favorite moment where he sits there and tells her how much he loves her, and because you know it's a lie, that's your favorite moment? Tell me that that wasn't fucked up, y'all. I felt like that was so fucked up. Diana takes the little boyfriend, and I feel like this is the same boyfriend from that she had when he was younger, and he didn't went through a divorce. So Diana takes him home. I'm sorry. Diana took that one home and had sex with him, but the sex wasn't that good, and she thought about Robert the whole time, because apparently, like most bums, Robert had good dick. Okay. Um, but yeah, so where was I? Okay, so Diana takes Robert home and bathes him. Then she's there to hold him while he gets his millions. He comes to Melinda's job with a $10 million check and roses. He bought her mom's house back for her too. So now her anger needs a new place to go, and it goes to her family. Let me talk about this for a second. Because to be honest, y'all, I didn't like the judge, because to me, she did pay for everything. To me, it is worth more than the 10 million that he gave her. I don't know. I forgot how much they said he made. I don't know whether they said he made 100 million or 50 million or something like that. And I know everybody felt like she should have just took that $10 million and went on about her life and been happy. Absolutely. I do think that. But I'm telling y'all, I think he gave her the $10 million and bought her the house back because he didn't want her to come after half of what he got, because she really did deserve half of what he got. Because I think any really good lawyer, regardless of the fact that they had gotten divorced, could really look at the paper trail of how he never kept a job. She worked, and then she depleted everything her mama had, lost the house. Yeah, he bought. Oh, he didn't even have to do this. The judge was an asshole. The judge was not being fair at all. The judge seemed to have a bias against women. Probably went through a divorce where his wife was able to clean up because she had a better attorney. But yeah, at the end of the day, he got 75 million. Yeah, she deserved half of the 75 million, because not only were they married when he came up with it, she paid for everything, including all the parts that he bought in order to make it. Like everything that he had, she really deserved half of it. And I think he gave her what he gave her, not out of the kindness of his heart, but to placate her and keep her for coming from half of it. That's what I think. Anyway, so like I said, she needs somewhere else for her anger to go. So she goes to her sister's house, and they having a card game waiting on her. She slaps down the $10 million check and tells them that he finally got it. He finally made good on his battery. He sold it, whatever. She calls her sisters, who have been coming to her rescue, cleaning up every mess that she's made. She calls her two sisters, two miserable bitches, one with a cheating husband who got a baby on the other side of town, and another one that's gay. You know what they say about you. Then she tells her boyfriend to go home and never call her again because he is horrible in bed and he's too big to have such a little dick. So she went to hell on everybody. And that should let you know that the anger was not about Robert. It was about her. And it's always been about her. And that's why people really are like a reflection of one another. Your relationships are really, just meant to mirror yourself back. And I think when you really look at it, if she at any point had decided to care more about herself than that man, more about herself than vengeance, more about herself than her ego, she could have had a way better life. She could have had a way better life. Like, that's insane for you to end up dead on the bottom of the motherfucking ocean with an anchor chained to your foot because you wanted to crash out over a man for the one final time, even with $10 million in your fucking bank account and a house that you don't have to pay a mortgage on. To me, that's the saddest part of this whole fucking story, y'all. But anyway, so she goes back to try to get her man back, but it's too late. Then Diana walks in wearing a ring. And to me, the fact that he did let her say all of the things that she said, knowing that Diana was in the other room, and the way he kept looking, I do think he wanted to humiliate her in front of Diana. He wanted that moment to happen because he could have stopped her. Not one time did he stop her from running around that fucking apartment goo-goo-eyed, seeing what she was now not going to get because she left him. So then she starts cyber stalking them. And they are living the life that he promised her. And I'm talking about every single thing that he specifically said that he would do for Melinda, he does it for Diana. And almost as if Diana doesn't even matter. Diana doesn't even matter. She's just a type of woman. He's like a Martell type, just smart, right? Because you're always looking for the woman that you can get the most out of, the woman that you can use. And I think that Diana was just the next type of woman to use for a man like him. Even though it seemed like he was, taking care of her child, I feel like over time we would see how that would turn out. He would probably turn into a cheater that talked to her crazy. Not that's the autism. What part? But yeah, it was almost like the women were interchangeable, and he really just copy and pasted everything that he wanted to do for Melinda onto Diana as if it was not made specifically for them, but just something he wants to give whatever woman he decides to have in that space. So she sees him on Facebook giving her the Mrs. Gale boat. She goes into a trance of, dancing and all of this. And I'm like, that should have been relieving some of your stress, but it just drudged up the energy even more. Then she tries to sue him for half of the business. The judge basically laughs at her and says that he didn't have to give her anything, which is insane to me. I wanted to curse the judge the fuck out. They ask for a restraining order, and then she goes live in the courtroom and starts to screaming about how this whore slept with her husband. And I'm like, when are y'all gonna get out of that? In therapy, you keep talking about how he's the problem. But in this moment, the only person that you really want to dog out is old girl because she pregnant. Because she said, oh yeah, because the little one is growing fast or some shit like that. Oh no, that was after. That was the second time they ended up in court. Hold up. So her friend tells her that she needs to get help after seeing the pictures that she stabbed in her house. Mel says, so y'all were in my house? Oh, I know what's going on. Y'all plotting on me. Now she all paranoid and shit. The family secretly meets with Robert and Diana, telling them that they need to take Melinda seriously and get security for their wedding. Melinda shows up and gets even more pissed off at her family because now y'all on their side and not mine. Then she goes to the bridal shop and puts acid inside Diana's wedding dress. Then we find out that Diana is pregnant when she lands herself back in court. Her therapist asked her to look at another perspective that the man may have meant well. And I hate when therapists do this because I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to make you have a safer thought so that you can self-regulate. But the truth of the matter is that wasn't going to work in this situation. What the therapist, I feel like, really should have been trying to make her see is, okay, so he is a terrible person. Are you going to destroy yourself for him? Because that's what you're on the path to doing. You're going to destroy yourself. And I don't know how vengeance is destroying yourself as he continues to elevate and make you look like a psycho crazy person who can't move on. Why wasn't anybody being honest with her? I'm just fucking saying. So she says that I get dogged and it's all my fault. It's not all your fault, but every time you betray yourself, that's a choice you make. That's not what the therapist said, of course. Then she asked if she's ever heard of borderline personality disorder. And I was just like, yeah, it's giving BPD. That's exactly what it's giving. She tells her, man, get the fuck out of here. That's some bullshit. No, that's why you're like this. And really, if you get on some type of medication, you could have self-regulated. But no, y'all want to all into the black community thing, wanting to believe that anything somebody tells you when it comes to mental health is some bullshit. Okay, girl. Okay, girl, fine. Kill yourself then if that's what you want to do, girl. Go ahead. Robert and Diana get married, and her family tries to keep her from leaving the house. They block her in, and she still gets out. I don't know how you go and get your hair done and your makeup done so that you could show up to this man's wedding, girl. But that's insane. She had been looking raggedy that whole time, and then when he was getting remarried, she went and got an old nasty ass, curly wavy bust down. It was really really cute. Anyway, so they're on the boat. She shows up on their boat with a gun in a white dress. So she got new hair and clothes to ask him why Diana and not her. He has to keep, that's them abandonment issues. And he has to keep saying that he didn't cheat on her. He loved her and he always will. So she says, so tell her to jump off the boat then. Of course, you know he's not going to do that. So she shoots him and makes the whole crew jump off the boat. Then she starts chasing Diana. And he, I guess, at some point, he kind of like bum rushes her in enough time for, oh girl, I think she falls in the water. Yeah, she falls in the water. Diana gets on a boat to go and get the crew to help him because he's shot. And somehow that bitch got out the water and got back on the boat like Freaky Jason. It was absolutely giving Freaky Jason, right? She goes to hit him with an axe and his foot, and I don't know whether she hit him with the axe or not, but his foot ends up falling on a button which released the anchor. And when it released the anchor, her foot got caught in the chains and she ended up getting sucked down into the ocean. Okay, to turn into the great white witch that kills people on these here waters and shit. Like that's what it felt like to me. Either way, to me, this is an example of when women will allow their egos and their bitterness to help them destroy themselves. I feel like that man was a piece of shit, and you should have not only like took what you could and moved on and found a way to be happy, but eventually you probably would have really sat with it and realized that you weren't crazy. He was gaslighting you, and he wasn't just this good guy and he really just loves you. I don't believe that, y'all. I'm so sorry. Now that I've watched it, now that I've sat down and watched it this time around, knowing what I know about men, no, 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 no. He was a con man. He was manipulative. I don't think he ever truly loved her. I just think he saw her as someone that he could use. I think he thought she was beautiful and all of that fiery energy that she had. I think he still knew that he could manipulate her because if she's this emotionally invested, then I can control her emotions. A lot of people will do that to angry women. A lot of people figure out how to manipulate angry women. And I know this because I feel like it's been done to me as somebody that used to carry around a lot of anger, especially when I was younger, 18, 19, my teen years. I was angry and I was violent and all of that shit. Not, just innately, but in relationships with people. But I do feel like now that I look back on it, I think I was in toxic relationships with people that felt like that's the way relationships are supposed to go, all of this fighting and fucking. And I do feel like on some level, they did not really like me. On some level, they didn't really like me. Even if they feel like they loved me, even if they feel like they like me, they did things to me that when I look back on it, it showed that you may have love or like for me, but much of life is duality. You also are envious of me about something and you are hurting me because you know you can, because you have the ability to. So that's why you're doing it. Not really because you have to, but because you can. And see, once I realized that, then I can't fuck with you no more. But yeah, I feel like he was always using her and she was always betraying herself for a man. And if she would have stopped doing that at any point in time, she would have been able to get off the ride. But she never stopped doing that. She betrayed herself until she basically killed herself because she was the point, the reason why her death happened. And to me, I think he'll be able to go on and suck the life out of Diana. And I don't think they're actually doing a second movie, but if they were to do a second movie, I think the second movie would be us going back and seeing all the times that he really was dogging that girl out, probably was cheating, probably was doing like little things behind the scenes to manipulate and agitate her. And we could go back and see that and then also see how it translated to the relationship with Diana because I don't believe men change just because they get a new woman or a different type of woman. I don't believe that because to be very clear, Melinda started out being just as loving and helpful as Diana did. Even though she had her anger about her, she still had the same type of, oh, I'm going to fix him, I'm going to help him that Diana did. So, yeah. Oh, child. Let me see what y'all comment, right? She had more invested in that man. It was gross. I definitely agree that he drive the next woman crazy in a sequel. He would. DG, thank you for the super chat. It also seems the wife was leeching off of the mother's fortune that was given to her. I don't think you can. I don't like that. I'm sorry, DG. I won't say because how are you leeching off of what was left to you? It's hers. She wasn't leeching. She wasn't doing anything with her life, but she's not leeching off of her own money. Her mom left her the money. It's her money. But she was not doing right by it at all. But I wouldn't say that she was leeching off of it because it makes it seems as if she was doing the same thing to herself or to him that he was doing to her. And I'm no, not necessarily. At some point, that lady went and worked. She, just kept betraying herself for him. But I don't like that language. I don't like that language. The ending was so anticlimactic, and the fact that Tyler did this movie in a week should have told the beginning of the fucking end. He never loved her. He used her to his advantage all those years until he hit. He couldn't stand her. And I think the second movie would be actually seeing how much he couldn't stand her. She should have hired someone. I feel like the anchor was an analogy for how she was anchored in that situation that she chose to be in and stay in. She gave all her power away. I agree. I agree. She was a means to an end. Yes. He was a bad guy. The first time I watched it, she would have been so much better off taking what he gave her and growing that money. She was smart. She was. As soon as she mentioned the money her mom left, he leashed on to her for years until the battery hit. You gotta look at their relationship with their parents and how they treated loved ones. Yup. This movie confused me so much because he was horrible, passive, yet she was painted as the bad guy, like the nigga married the bitch he cheated on her with. It was terrible. He was a terrible individual. All the energy she put into him, she should have put into herself. Absolutely. Let me see. I think okay, he was the manipulator, puppet master. Yes, he was. She made her entire identity her husband. She did. The boat scene was straight horror movie. It was, and I enjoyed it. Um, but yeah, y'all. That's my thoughts on it. Is that they were both the bad guys. She destroyed herself, but he was absolutely a scam artist using her until he couldn't use her anymore. And I think the plan was always to be with her, suck her dry, move on to the next one, suck them dry. And as long as he can pretend to still be, I love you, it's bullshit. I know I saw him do that at the end. Like when he was acting like he was trying to help her and all of that. And y'all could play with somebody else. I don't care about none of that shit because sometimes I feel like people don't want to admit the character that they're writing. Like to me, Tyler Perry, like you're writing a character and you don't even want to admit that the character ain't shit. That's what it felt like with Robert. It felt like Robert was ain't shit, and y'all selves as the people that made the movie didn't want to admit that he was ain't shit. Tyler Perry stated before that he would accept anything a man offers in a relationship. This movie shows how a woman will potentially get punished if she leaves. Basically. All right, y'all. But I think I got it. I'm good. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Thank y'all for coming through. Okay. Like, comment, subscribe. Share my video with your people. And please check out the rest of my Now That We're Grown playlist here on YouTube. I appreciate you guys. I hope y'all have a really good rest of y'all day. And I'm about to go eat because I am starving. Peace out, y'all.